This video is about listening to Alex Jones' addiction, and how much he can just totally fuck up someone's life. But in order to truly understand this addiction and what it's about, we first have to kind of understand what Alex Jones is about and why people listen to him. And the reason why they listen to him is, first of all, there's a lot of really good things that he does. So I'm going to go over this, not for the attention to talk about how great Alex Jones is, but to showed the legitimacy, it was the partial legitimacy of listening to him and trying to understand what is grabbing people into this type of Alex Jones addiction. Now, the first thing is that he covers a lot of legitimate topics that the mainstream media does not cover. This can be about the dangers of psychiatric medications, GMOs and other poisoning of this food supply. This also includes fluoride, the hidden agenda of U.S. imperialistic wars, the public education complex, the prison industrial complex, things such as 9/11, and going into details about how that's an inside job. And he covers a lot of important issues that don't get any mainstream coverage. So this is kind of like the gateway drug, is that you're looking for alternative information online, and all of a sudden Alex Jones has this great interview with someone about Monsanto and GMO foods, and this is kind of like grabbing you in. Something else is the interviews. It's not just that he's covering these topics, he has a very dispersed number of guests on his show. So it's not that Alex Jones is interviewing the local right-wing white trash idiot who's just going to back up his right-wing conspiracy theories. He has real people on, like he's had Dennis Kucinich on, Cynthia McKinney.
Because she has the courage to go to that. We were talking to her yesterday on the phone with bombs going off in the background. Congresswoman, we appreciate you joining us.
Alex, it's been too long. I have wanted to come on your show for so long, but it's quite... whenever we get together, it's wonderful. So thank you so much for having me on. And, it's dark here now. And after the meeting of President and Cameron, we expect that there will be intense bombing tonight. We don't know that, but we expect that that's what is in store for us. More humanitarian intervention from NATO.
And Obama told Cameron no let-up on Gaddafi. Now, have you talked to Gaddafi? What have you witnessed? What are you seeing? We're seeing the images of civilian dead, burning buildings, and our media tells us 1984 style, this is not an assault, this is not an attack, this is humanitarian. They're sinking, 8 ships last week in the harbor, bombs going off everywhere, more bombs yesterday. What are you witnessing?
They're lying. The American people are being lied to.
Russell Blaylock, Chris Hedges, Gerald Celente, Jeffrey Smith, and all these people I'm mentioning, they're not right-wingers at all. They're, if anything, mostly on the left, and they're bringing up real legitimate issues, and he'll go on in-depth interviews with them exposing these problems. So, and a lot of times Alex Jones just lets people talk. It doesn't matter if he agrees with them or if he doesn't. So this type of persona that Alex Jones is this raving lunatic, it's not entirely justified. He only does that part of the time.
To me, you're another one of these intellectuals who will say vicious, aggressive things and then piss their pants if anybody else, hold on a minute, piss their pants if anybody else says anything half as mean back to them. Okay? And now I'm really going to do a critique of you, and now I'm getting out the fine-tooth comb.
And people who listen to Alex Jones, know that. There are many people who don't listen to Alex Jones, and they might see some YouTube clip of him ranting and raving, but that's not what Alex Jones is always like. He's actually very, intelligent and speaks to intelligent, knowledgeable people. And this is another way of bringing someone in, because you might not be the type of person who's going to care about Alex Jones and Ron Paul agenda and this stuff, but maybe you're a fan of Cynthia McKinney, or maybe you're into health, and Russell Blaylock is on. So he's bringing in people from all sorts of backgrounds. You don't have to be this right-wing Ayn Rand nut job in order to find valuable information that appeals to your value system on Alex Jones. So between the good information he's commenting in about issues not covered by the mainstream media and all these various guests from different backgrounds who he really lets the guests speak, this is lending a lot of legitimacy to him when he does go on his rants and starts pumping people up. He has many rants which, he...
Grabbing some black kid because he was caught with cocaine the government shipped in when he's 14 years old because the MTV tells him it's cool with the bling culture, and throwing him in a tiny cell to now be trained how to be a hardcore criminal. That is evil against the human code of nurturing and growing and training and building and reaching for the stars. There is evil, and I will declare abortion evil. I will declare us special. I will declare us a divine species in the image of God, and I will not let the technocrats or anybody else tell me that, because I know we're going to the stars, and I know our destiny is great, and I know a little black kid having pesticide tested on them until they die is evil.
Sure, but that evil has a source, and that's what you fail to realize. And that source can be addressed through the environment and conditioned out of. And until you realize that, your irrational tirades are not going to help anything. You're going to be...
It's not irrational. It's not irrational. It is my instinct with the intellectual overlaid into the animal propulsion system to drive the species and to rally my fellow humans to come out of their cocoons and resist the tyranny.
Yeah, the us against them, of course, the us against them.
There is an us against them. There's always going to be Jeffrey Dahmers. There's always going to be Ted Turners. There's always going to be Albert Pikes. You're always going to need weapons because enemies are always going to come against you. There is going to be no utopia, ladies and gentlemen. We must stop being so trusting. It was talk of utopia that killed 200 million people in the last century. We're going to skip this break. Yeah!
Appeals to humans' most basic instincts, and he wraps this up in this veneer of God-given moral destiny. But that's only part of the show. So the show is him going on in-depth interviews or giving in-depth information about very concrete issues, and then here comes this irrational tirade. But after listening to someone talk about Monsanto for a full hour and how they want to kill everyone off in the world and how bad these foods really are, and they really are that bad, then you're open to listening to him rant and rave for 20 minutes because he made you pissed off, and now he's giving you the emotion. Like, he's giving you the information to piss you off, and then he's feeding you the emotion. And what kind of happens is, after a while, you come to Alex Jones because you want to listen to one type of information, but then the next thing you know is he gets you emotionally pumped up, and then next show we have someone like Mark Dice on, who's completely irrelevant, but because you were listening to really good information the previous day, now you're listening to Mark Dice nonsense or Ron Paul nonsense, and so forth. So another reason why people listen to Alex Jones then is because they want to engage the New World Order population control genocide theory. And how people get into believing this theory, it's this slow process of Alex Jones is talking about Monsanto. Alex Jones is talking about Iran. Alex Jones is talking about the bullshit war against Syria. Alex Jones is talking about the bullshit attack on Osama bin Laden that never really happened. Because it's just, all that stuff that we're talking about is he is exposing mainstream propaganda, bullshit, and lies. And then all of a sudden he's giving you a lot of information, then your guard goes down, and next thing you know, he's talking about this whole New World Order, the genocide plan. So there's this slow process between getting real information that he's dispersing and then the New World Order agenda. And there is a process of him having real legitimate guests on for like whole days, giving good information, and then the next day, here's Mark Dice, here's Luke Rudkowski, here are basically these Alex Jones wannabes, and he just interviews them, but there's this slow process of him lending legitimacy to the insane part of his persona, because for the most part, he's not going on irrational tirades, and he's not interviewing irrelevant copycats. For the most part, he really is giving a lot of good information. But where does Alex Jones go with this information? Does he lead people to actually engage the world and change it in a beneficial way? Well, no, he doesn't. I mean, there are many people in the world who are working on changing it and making it a better place. And I can point to projects such as open source ecology or cybernative farm systems. And, I can just put links here and someone could go look at it and say, yeah, these are people who are working on changing the world. But Alex Jones is not doing that. What he's working on is converting you into being an info warrior. And that's the problem, is that what does an info warrior do? What does that entail? Well, first of all, it means that you're running around with a bag of like Alex Jones DVDs and telling people, here, you have to watch Terror Storm. So the info warrior's main job is to get other people to listen to Alex Jones, almost as an end to itself. And then what else does an info warrior do? Well, the info warrior is buying gold from Midas Resources.
But the real economy is imploding. The banks are looting us. People need to get into silver and gold. It's up over 400% in the last 7-8 years, as you know. And I believe it's just going to continue to grow. But
he's ordering storageable food from eFoods Direct.
And then I tuned to 93.7 KLBJ and heard an ad for a storable food company saying, don't end up at the FEMA camp. Basically, never stand on a bread line if you own your own bread, taking everything that, Steve Shanks basically put out over the years and saying it. I mean, that means it's at all-time proportions when everywhere I tune and on TV I see storable food, storable food. The funny thing is, we're not going to be mean and say the companies. Most of these companies you see out there are either selling old food or foreign food that's still somewhat old, or they're trying to get Steve Shank, who's got the biggest factories, the biggest outfits in the country, to have him produce for him. And he's so busy, he's like, no, I'm not doing it. And a lot of people claim they're the oldest or they're the best. No, Steve Shank is. I've looked into it.
Might be buying other paraphernalia from marketers at Alex Jones' channel. The info warrior is practicing how to shoot with his rifle and has a good Christian Bible. And, and then there are times people call up on Alex Jones and they talk about God, gold, and guns as if that's the solution. So the solution that Alex Jones leads people into is buying their gun, their storageable food, their Bible, their rifle, bunkering down and waiting for the New World Order apocalypse. Do I really have to explain how this is not leading you to any solution of anything? It's just destroying your life. You do not want to live being this fear-obsessed person with your God, gold, and guns. Life is too short to waste on this bullshit.
Our liberties, global megabanks are exempt from all the laws they foist on us. The offshore megabanks don't even hardly pay taxes, but lobby to raise taxes on us here domestically so that they can simply extract our wealth out in corporate welfare. Learn about the New World Order. Learn about the globalists, how they fund fascists, communists, and socialists, anything that's centralized. Learn about eugenics and the cancer viruses and the vaccines. Learn about the GMO designed to sterilize you. Learn. I mean, I've got John P. Holdren's own book right here. Hell, let me show it to you right here.
All right, Alex. I think that's about.
They put poison in the water. Poison in the water. This is a normal response to this. This is how they should have responded to Hitler.
I do like how this now sounds like a WWF promo, but I think we're going to have to let it go there. Thank you, Alex, so much for joining us.
You're in danger. Everybody watching. They control both parties. Wake up. Get out of your trance.
All right. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex. Hope you have a great day.
What does it mean if you're an Alex Jones listener and you've woken up? Well, in a sense, it's good that you've woken up into realizing that the mainstream media is full of bullshit and lies. But then you're living in an alternative reality where you're listening to Alex Jones and you're waiting for the New World Order apocalypse so that you're going to become the last vestige of freedom against the police state with your AR-15 rifle or something. This is not living in reality. So waking up from one delusional dream state of the mainstream media to then becoming an Alex Jones fan is just it's not going anywhere. I want to talk about this gold from Midas Resource that he keeps on selling. Now, it is true that depending upon your financial situation, buying gold might be a good move. But realize if you call up Midas Resources and buy gold, that gold has to almost double in spot price for you to make your money back by selling it. Because if gold is $1,500 an ounce, they're not selling it to you at $1,500. They're selling it to you at $1,900. And then if it's a 1,500 and you want to sell it back, they might give you like a price of as if it was 1,100. So Alex Jones knows that if gold is $1,500 an ounce, if you buy an ounce of gold, it's going to have to go up to way past 2,000 to make your money back. And it's really unethical to go on the radio and promote this to a population of listeners, and a lot of them do not have a lot of money, and he's convincing people who do not have the money to afford gold to go out and buy gold to protect themselves against the New World Order, knowing that these people are probably going to have to liquidate it. And let's talk about the whole gun thing. This is part of the fantasy that Alex Jones is selling. When someone becomes deeply invested into the New World Order, they're living in this dreamlike state where the police, where they think that there's going to be a police state taking over, and they're going to be bunkering down with their gun, protecting themselves against government tyranny. The problem with this is that the Second Amendment is obsolete. And this is something people don't talk about with the Second Amendment. I mean, in 1776, at that level of technology, a well-armed citizen militia could function as last defense of freedom against government tyranny. But in the 21st century, you're not going to bunker down with your gun and defend yourself against stealth bombers, robots, drone planes, tanks, military personnel in body armor. It's like, this is delusional. And he's just like promoting, this fantasy world. And I'm going to say the final fantasy that Alex Jones promotes is this notion that instead of building new paradigms for the future, we need to hold on to something in the past that never existed. I mean, libertarians are very fond of believing that the United States had this epic past in the 1800s where everyone was free and everyone was so prosperous, instead of the stark reality of people laboring for 14 plus hours a day in some factory, making a small ruling class rich. And part of this stupid fantasy is the notion that capitalism is the only system, and we need more capitalism, and we need the free market. And what happens is that Alex Jones is spending all his time revealing the corruption inherent in the capitalistic system. It's like when he's exposing Monsanto is operating as it does because it's profit motivated to do so under capitalism. The prison industrial complex is a result of capitalism. The military industrial complex comes from capitalism. Wars of imperialism, this all comes from this capitalistic system. But instead of directing people towards the real problem, which is capitalism, which is now obsolete due to things such as technological unemployment, he's just blaming it all on the New World Order. So if when Monsanto wants to put out genetically modified foods that are poisoning people so they can have a monopoly, Alex Jones doesn't say, well, this is what corporations do under capitalism. He says this is the New World Order. And then instead of saying this is capitalism, he says this is crony capitalism. As if that's what capitalism is. You can't create new forms of capitalism to defend the old. So Alex Jones is heavily invested in hanging on to this capitalistic market system, which is so obsolete in current reality. And if anyone doubts that, I'm just going to link to a video that I link everyone to. It's called Awakenings, created by Douglas Smollett. Watch that half-hour video and then come back to me and tell me that capitalism isn't obsolete. So what I want people who are obsessed with Alex Jones to do is to start questioning certain aspects of Alex Jones' addiction. The first thing to do is realize that Alex Jones is not going to change the world. And listening to him is not going to change the world. For example, the next time there's a crazed gunman who decides to go off and shoot a dozen people, the next day Alex Jones is going to come out that he reviewed the evidence and that it's a New World Order conspiracy to grab your guns. Well, first thing he's going to do is he's going to say, I don't jump to conclusions. I'm going to wait for the information to come in. And then he'll wait a day before claiming it's a conspiracy. Now, whether or not this is a conspiracy or not, listening to Alex Jones go through the minutia of this event for hour after hour, day after day is not going to change the world.
To take it, to make us like Mexico, a narco-terrorist state run by the mafia government with the citizens disarmed. 1776 started when the redcoats came to take our guns. Texas independence in 1836 came when Santa Anna came to take our guns. It isn't happening, you offshore New World Order bankers. You know the guns culture starting to kick your butt, so you're panicking. Well, let me tell you something. You're not going to win and you're not going to succeed. Everybody, this is an illegitimate criminal government that probably staged this event, but undoubtedly they're going to exploit it. So get out there and warn everyone you know. We need guns to protect ourselves from criminals, crazy people, and this corrupt foreign occupational government. I'm Alex Jones reporting for Infowars.com. And if you're watching...
All you're doing is wasting your time, listening to this bullshit. That's it. It's just not going to change the world. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Not going to change the world. Okay. And then realize that getting other people to listen to Alex Jones is not going to change the world. Because the only thing Alex Jones at the end motivates people to do is to get their gold guns and storageable food and bunker down before the immediate economic collapse in the next 6 months. There's a video I'm going to link to that just shows stupid prediction after stupid prediction Alex Jones has made that does not come true. Alex Jones keeps on saying that he's correct around 99% of the time. Yet every day he makes idiotic predictions about the imminent economic collapse that doesn't happen. It is true the economy sucks. It is true capitalism is winding down. It is true that there's a lot of problems going into the future. But the only way to fix those problems is to be proactive and build new systems. Alex Jones' main product really is fear. And he just hypes it up. He gives good factual information, then he goes on a fear-based tirade, and because you believe him, because of the good information he gave, you're now buying into the fear. And now when you're bought into the fear, next thing you know, you have to get your storageable food. You have to warn this person. You have to warn that person. You're on the internet. You're watching this. And you're just soaking in more and more fear. Not helping anyone, not changing the world. And all you are to Alex Jones is another sucker. Please. Also realize that the New World Order conspiracy is not a fact. All Alex Jones does is he takes real-life events and then he projects them into the New World Order conspiracy. So Bill Gates will say something stupid, and then Alex Jones says, you see, that's the New World Order conspiracy to mass murder, a billion people or whatever. Yeah, Bill Gates is a creepy guy. Yes, he has said some definitely strange things about wanting to lower world population. But that does not prove the New World Order conspiracy theory. All that proves is that Bill Gates is a pretty creepy guy, and that we as a civilization should arrive at decisions scientifically rather than just do things because some idiotic billionaire wants to do it. We need to realize that the ruling class government will tend to make decisions and act in a way that protects themselves. And this mode of behavior is going to be auto-generated by the system we're in. So when the system starts to collapse, when people are protesting, the government and corporations are going to auto-generate methods of protecting themselves, such as coming up with a law in New York City that it's now illegal to annoy the police. You don't need the New World Order conspiracy to explain that. All you need to understand is that the top 1% are going to tend to act in a way to protect their own interests. Finally, if you have been a long-time listener of Alex Jones, consider how he has hurt your life. Have you taken time away from family and friends to listen to Alex Jones? And not like you're taking time away to relax or read a book or watch a TV show you like. You're taking time away from things that matter in order to stress yourself out and induce fear. Have you let Alex Jones interfere with school or business, hurting yourself as Alex Jones hurt you financially? When I used to be into Alex Jones, I was trying to get a business started, and I could not really get my business started until I stopped listening to Alex Jones. But I know other people who also would have trouble proceeding with school or business because Alex Jones is distracting them. And how are you supposed to do what Alex Jones wants and get out and compete in the free market if the only thing that's going through your mind is how the economy is going to collapse in 6 months? It's a complete contradiction what Alex Jones does to people. But realize that these info warriors are being hurt within their not just in their family life but in their business life. They're spending countless hours on day on this stupid Alex Jones addiction. It's a fear addiction. It's all it is. He's just kind of, ringing some primitive reptilian centers in your head with fear, fear, fear. Just in general, has the belief that the entire economic system is going to collapse in the next couple of months and the New World Order is going to start their mass eugenics program, has that interfered with you doing anything in your life that you really want to do? I mean, maybe it's motivated you to take some positive steps. Maybe it's not a bad idea to have some storageable food in case of an emergency. But has this led you to not do things that you really want to do with your life? Have you wasted money on useless products sold and or promoted by Alex Jones? Has Alex Jones caused great fear in you, which has affected you psychologically but also physiologically? That fear is going to induce the stress hormone cortisol. That's going to raise blood sugar. That's going to increase inflammation. That's going to lower your lifespan. Is it really worth injuring your health with cortisol and stress because Alex Jones wants to give you some more fear? And how many hours have you wasted online watching Alex Jones wannabes because 3+ hours a day of Alex Jones isn't enough? This is what happens. It's like a drug addiction. Imagine someone smoking pot and then they're smoking crack and then that's not enough, so they're getting their LSD. That's what can happen with Alex Jones. First there's Alex Jones, and then there's Mark Dice, and then there's We Are Change channel, and all these rip-off wannabes. So people could spend 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day online with these stupid knockoffs.
Hi, Truth Girl Sonia here. I'm in front of the Bonaventure Hilton Hotel in Montreal, where they're holding the 18th Annual International Economic Forum of the Americas, otherwise known to some people as the New World Order Conference. And so I'm...
So it was almost like Alex Jones is the gateway drug into this world of delusional fantasy. And he was really messing around with my life, and that's why I know this kind of firsthand. And then it's like there's this moment of clarity, and you wake up and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? So I went from watching hours of Alex Jones every day and following this person and that person to following none of it. And I did that overnight a couple of years ago. And that day I did it, my life changed for the better in so many ways. And just like any stupid addiction, like a World of Warcraft addiction or something like that, you look back and you think, what the fuck was going on in my mind? Because honestly, looking back, I have no idea what was going on. There's someone online, Lennon Honor, and he's put out a lot about this, about how you have to break away from this alternative media because they're just going to lead you nowhere like the mainstream media is. So I found Lennon Honor helpful, but I'm really putting this thing out because I kind of gone through this entire process. And I wasn't into like other people because I never was one of these right-wing nuts. I was never one of these Ron Paul people. I just realized that Alex Jones is not improving the world. You're not making the world a better place by listening to him. He's just fucking up your life. Okay, that's it. Bye.